Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durban, and I'm going to spoiler-free review Ghostbusters, the new one. As you can tell, that's where I'm driving right now to go see this movie. I'm kind of excited to see it. I have mixed feelings about this because, on the one hand, it's Ghostbusters, and it's one of those movies that I think, if I could get there and shut my brain off, I could really end up enjoying it for what it is. But I'm also a movie reviewer, so there's an element where I can't shut my brain off. So I guess we'll figure out if this, I don't know, I guess we'll see. Anyway, I don't know what to expect from this movie. I have mediocre expectations because the trailers are mediocre. Like, to me, there's nothing in the trailers that stands out as incredibly awesome and, oh, I have to see that. Like, I have not seen anything like that in any of the trailers. Like, it looks okay. It looks like it's going to be fun to see the all-female cast. It's going to be fun to see Thor be their secretary and all that stuff. Like, a lot of the stuff looks like it could be really, really fun. But the trailers also make it look like it's going almost story point for story point from the original. Probably not completely story point for story point, but I really, from the trailers, just get this idea that it's taken a lot from the original. So, I don't know. That can either be really good and do what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows did and be like Nostalgia Road and be like really cool, or that could really turn it the other way and ruin it. But I don't know. I'm trying to go into this movie with positive expectations, doing my best to shut my brain off and just kind of enjoy it for what it is. So, I don't know. Here we go. Ghostbusters.
I'm tired.
No, listen.
I'm just gonna go ahead and take off. How about that?
I don't really think that's a good idea.
No. Going to take off. Don't piss off the ghost. Really?
Not a half-bad movie. I rather kind of enjoyed it. But when you saw the drive-in there, my expectations, they were pretty mediocre. They were pretty low. That might have helped. I'm not gonna lie. Having those really low expectations might have helped me enjoy it more. But in truth, I really had a lot of fun with it. I mean, you had your 4 Ghostbusters. And what was kind of cool about, these 4 women in this movie, each of their roles reflected the roles of the original Ghostbusters. But each of these women, they took it and they made it their own thing. So even though, yes, their character types were images of the character types from the original Ghostbusters, they did a really great job pulling it off. I thought the 4 of them had really good chemistry together. I thought they were really fun to watch. So, ladies, awesome job. You were amazing Ghostbusters, so I had a lot of fun with that. You know who else was awesome? Chris Hemsworth, Thor. The guy was hysterical in this movie. There's so many points that I'd like to talk about where I thought he was particularly quite funny, but this is a spoiler-free review. So now if I do that, then the joke would be spoiled and you'd be watching it and then mad at me like Durban told me that. So, we're not gonna cross that bridge. But I will just say that Chris Hemsworth was pretty hilarious in this movie. And the movie actually had a really good story. You can kind of pick it up and piece it together from the trailers that really the story is somebody is going through New York City. They got some kind of device that awakens the paranormal, that kind of solidifies it and brings it into our world. And so that's kind of why these ghosts are now starting to pop up more, which actually gives our Ghostbusters quite a bit of work. And one of the things I liked about this movie is they're posting these videos on YouTube of them catching ghosts and stuff, and still nobody's believing it. I don't know, it just kind of added this other element of like tense stuff to it. And you get into Kristen Wiig's character a little bit, and you find out people made fun of her for, different ghost stories from her past and things like that. So I just thought it was really interesting to see that play into it, where here they have video evidence of them catching ghosts, but nobody believes it because, it's YouTube. And who believes, seriously, who listens to anybody on YouTube? I mean, God, that's ridiculous. So I thought that was a really cool added thing that they had to that. So you have the story of them trying to catch this guy. You have this other story that nobody's believing them. And so you kind of they have to push through that to do what they need to do. And on top of it, there was a little more added on, like the mayor and things like that. It did add some extra tension, the stuff that the mayor's office was doing to try to make the Ghostbusters look more foolish. And it was kind of interesting. So there were a lot of elements at play in this story that I thought were really interesting. And on top of the fact that I really thought these Ghostbusters were pretty funny. Not all the jokes came through. Yeah, some jokes fell flat, but I found it forgivable because I really just found myself having a lot of fun in this movie. Like, you know the scene in the trailer where you see the ghostly apparition that slimes Kristen Wiig. I jumped 10 feet out of my chair when that happened because you see, my wife and I are watching this movie in 3D. Like, she made a noise. It scared the ever-living daylights out of me. I jumped in my chair. I think the people over here were laughing at me. And then the slime just came right out of the screen at me. Yeah, other than that, it really wasn't worth the 3D too much. I mean, the 3D wasn't super impressive, but it wasn't bad either. I don't know. I'm not reviewing the 3D. The movie was fun. And there's a lot of cool things that they did with the stuff. Like, you see in the trailer where she kind of has, like, those punching ghost things. I don't know. It was really cool when she had that because we got to see some ghost hand-to-hand combat. Some stuff we didn't get to see in the original. Probably because the technology is where it is now and they could actually do stuff like that. And I will say it was really kind of cool in a lot of these ghostly scenes to see the Ghostbusters and the ghost interacting that close. And not just far away with the streams, but like really getting into it. And it was also funny. I don't know. There's a lot of that I found really entertaining. Now, again, it's not a perfect movie. I mean, there are things that do fall flat, and I don't know, though. Like, I'm not emphasizing that a lot now because I'm surprised by what a good time I actually had in this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun to watch, and really, if you could go into the movie and just shut your brain off, because, yeah, there's a few places where I was watching, it's like, oh, wait a minute. If you established you have to do this with the ghost, but in this scene, you're not doing that, you're doing this. I had a few moments like that, but then it's like, but who cares? Visually, this is kind of cool, and it's kind of fun to watch. So, I'm not going to say it's the best movie ever, but I am going to say I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed it, and honestly, if somebody wanted to go see it again, I'd go. I'd see it again on the big screen. So, I think in the end, I'm going to give this movie 3.5 out of 5 stars, because I had way more fun than I was expecting, and I really enjoyed it, and yeah. I mean, I acknowledge it's not perfect, but what movie is? So, got my spoiler talk for this coming up Saturday. Wait, what is today? Today's Friday. Got my spoiler talk for this coming up tomorrow, which is always going to be super exciting. And then reading way too much into Star Trek 2009 on Sunday, and then a special edition of Reading Way Too Much Into on Monday with Reading Way Too Much Into Star Trek Into Darkness, because Star Trek Beyond is coming out here real soon, so we got to really get pumped for that. So you want to catch all of that and see so much more, make sure to subscribe and like this video. I'm Durban. Thank you so much for checking out Durbania.